As we continue our coverage of Donald Trump's executive order, we're joined by Nasreen Al-Amin, a PhD student in anthropology at Stanford University and a Sudanese citizen.
She was detained at JFK Airport Friday evening, shortly after Donald Trump's executive order banning visitors from 7 countries, including Sudan, went into effect. Welcome to Democracy Now! I'm very sorry for what you went through. Can you describe what happened to you at the airport, Nasreen?
Sure. I boarded a plane in Sudan shortly after finding out about the executive order. I was trying to get back before it came into effect, but I missed the connecting flight. When I got in, I was escorted into a separate holding area. I was questioned extensively, in part, among other things, about my views about the political situation in Sudan, about whether or not I knew of radical groups in Sudan, whether I knew people who had radical views. I was asked to share my social media handles, not my passwords, but my social media handles. And I was asked to kind of sit tight and wait as they were trying to figure out what was going on, because the order had literally just been signed, or they were just getting notice of it, so the officers didn't really know what they were doing. And they told me eventually that I needed to get transferred to Terminal 4, which is a 24-hour holding area. And before doing that, I had to be patted down. And so I was led into a room. I was patted down. It was a very uncomfortable pat down. I was touched in my chest and groin area. And then I was handcuffed briefly. That's when I started to cry, because I felt like, at that moment, I felt like, okay, I'm probably going to get deported. And they realized they hadn't handcuffed the other person who was with me, who was an Iranian green card holder, and so they took off the handcuffs, transferred us to Terminal 4. There were other people at this point that were getting led in handcuffs, who were Iranian and Iraqi citizens with valid visas. Eventually, I got out after 5 hours, and I was told, I asked the officer if I would be able to go back to Sudan, because I haven't finished my dissertation research, and he recommended that I not go back unless I was willing to be subjected to that whole procedure again. And he said, you know, I would stay put if I were you, because green card holders were being treated on a case-by-case basis.
And did you get any sense, because there's been a lot of reports in terms of the lack of preparation for this order, did you get any sense that the customs officials and the others that you dealt with, the immigration officials, were on the same wavelength or knew what they were doing, or was there a lot of confusion?
There was a lot of confusion. It was very chaotic, and they admitted it to me.